The Golden Bachelorette. Joan Vassos is a great catch, but maybe she's not quite right for Chock Chapple after all. December 26, 2024. Hello, Bachelor Nation news fans. Welcome back to the channel. The Golden Bachelorette star Joan Vassos is elegant, sensitive, and wise, and she's a great catch for almost anyone, but she might not be Chock Chapple's best match. Lately, the two have had some minor drama, which might lead to major turbulence. The fact that Joan and Chock are getting so serious so fast, without actually getting married, creates a little pressure. It remains to be seen how Joan will handle all of that. She's lived with terrible heartbreak, and she's strong, but her past might be the real reason why things don't work out. During the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, cast member Joan had moments of doubt. She was open about that. Joan also seemed to gravitate towards another man, Pascal Ebguiu. The French hairdresser is a fun guy because he has no filter, but his heart wasn't in it. Pascal dumped Joan and then blamed producers for what he did. Joan felt unlovable for a while, even though she is beautiful and sweet, but she got over it. Her interest in Pascal, who rudely dressed up as her on Halloween, showed poor judgment. It also showed that Chock wasn't always her frontrunner. Joan may not be over Joan Vassos. Joan has issues stemming from the grief she's been carrying for 4 years, since her husband Joan Vassos passed away. Of course, she still loves the man she was married to. On Thanksgiving, she talked about him on TikTok, sharing that she honored him on his birthday, November 27. She tried to enjoy Thanksgiving with Chock and their blended family, but she was being pulled back into the past. In the future, she may have flashbacks that make it hard for her to move on. John's death was a traumatic event. He passed away due to pancreatic cancer. When he received his diagnosis, it was emotionally crushing. Joan is an amazing woman because she's been able to overcome so many obstacles. In fact, the wisdom and compassion she's gained from such intense suffering makes her a caring and inspiring human being. However, her grief is very fresh, and on special occasions, it may overwhelm her. Now, she has to go on, doing all she can to build a happy relationship with Chock. He seems to adore her, but sometimes she lets a little irritation seep into her interactions with him. For example, when they cooked together, whipping up cuisine for a football game, she wasn't happy with how he inserted garlic cloves in a pork shoulder. When she criticized him on camera, he looked upset. It's possible that the pressure of maintaining a happier-than-ever facade at all times is making her edgy. Sometimes, what's happening inside a person, in their subconscious, comes out as they live their life. Joan is taken with Chock. She thinks he's wonderful, but she loves John too, and she'll always compare her former relationship to what she has now. She may be able to navigate all this. If anyone can, it's her. Joan, who stood out on The Golden Bachelor because of her sincerity and good manners, deserves to be happy. The only issue is whether she's playing a part sometimes or being authentically herself. There's so much pressure on her to make this romance work. The Golden Bachelorette's Joan Vassos is expected to live out a fairy tale, and maybe that goal isn't realistic. If she decides it's all too much, Chock may end up heartbroken. Moreover, Joan's reaction in these moments might suggest that she's subconsciously comparing Chock to John. Every little irritation, every minor flaw, might feel amplified in Joan's mind because, in the back of her heart, she's still measuring her current partner against the man she spent most of her life with. It's not that Joan doesn't care for Chock, she clearly does. But there's a difference between the love she had for her late husband and what she has with Chock. Joan might be afraid to fully let go of her past, and that hesitation could be a barrier to her finding true happiness in the present. Joan's need for authenticity. One of Joan's defining qualities on The Golden Bachelorette has been her authenticity. She's never pretended to be someone she's not, and she's always been candid about her feelings and doubts. Yet, as the season progresses, it's becoming clear that there's a fine line between being authentic and feeling pressured to perform. The fans, the producers, and the audience all expect Joan to live out the perfect romance, but that's a heavy burden to carry. Joan has shown us her vulnerability and her strength, but the question remains, is she being entirely true to herself? There are moments when Joan seems to be playing a role, the role of the woman who's found love again, the role of the happy content partner who's finally found her second chance at happiness. But the reality is that Joan's journey is far from linear, and she's still navigating a complex emotional landscape. It's possible that in trying to meet expectations, both her own and those of the world watching, Joan has lost sight of what she truly needs. In her quest for love, she might have overlooked the fact that the pressure to find perfection can sometimes lead to dissatisfaction. Can Chock and Joan make it? As we watch Joan and Chock's relationship unfold, it's hard to ignore the undeniable chemistry between them. Chock is kind, patient, and deeply caring, qualities that make him a wonderful partner for Joan. However, the cracks in their relationship, while subtle, might eventually become too large to ignore. Joan's emotional baggage, her attachment to her late husband, and her grief may prove to be too much for their budding relationship to withstand. Chock, for his part, is clearly enamored with Joan, but will he be able to understand and accept the complexities of her past? Can he handle the times when Joan is unable to fully engage with him because she's emotionally elsewhere? While Chock's affection for Joan is evident, he may not fully grasp the depths of her grief or the weight of her unresolved feelings. That disconnect could create a distance between them, no matter how much they care for each other. In the end, the question isn't whether Joan is a great catch. She undoubtedly is. The real question is whether she can be the woman Chock needs her to be, while still honoring the woman she was with her late husband. Can she open her heart enough to embrace a future with Chock, or will the past always keep her from moving forward? Only time will tell if Joan can balance the love she has for John with the possibility of a future with Chock. Conclusion: Joan Vassos is a remarkable woman, wise, compassionate, and resilient. She has faced unimaginable heartache and come out the other side stronger for it. But the journey toward love, particularly after loss, is never easy. While Joan and Chock seem like a wonderful match on paper, the reality of their relationship is more complicated than it appears. Joan's grief, her attachment to her late husband, and the pressure of living out a perfect romance might ultimately cause her to pull away from Chock, even if she doesn't want to. The Golden Bachelorette may have introduced us to a beautiful love story, but for Joan and Chock, the road to happily ever after is far from smooth. Whether their relationship survives the challenges ahead will depend on Joan's ability to heal from the past and be fully present in the future. The question remains, is Joan ready to let go of her past and embrace the future with Chock, or is she still too tied to the love she lost to move forward? Stay tuned, Bachelor Nation, as we continue to follow Joan's journey and the unpredictable twists of the Golden Bachelorette.